It's a me, Mario. That was a lie.
Hello, beautiful people of the interwebs! This is going to be my 14th attempt at a vlog. There is a lot of background noise outside today because here in the States it is a holiday. It is Memorial Day, which basically means that pretty much everyone in the country has off work, which means that all of my neighbors have chosen this day as a day to do stuff to their lawns. I mean, I guess I can't judge. I chose to use this day to edit videos and film a vlog. So really, who am I to judge? I decided I wanted to shoot this vlog because some good stuff and some bad stuff happened this weekend, and I just sort of wanted to talk about all of it. It's all very petty and very me related and doesn't have any effect on the rest of the world or probably your life. Unless you really like this channel and you like to watch all the videos on it, in which case at least one of the things might have a slight effect on your life, but for the most part, I'm just going to talk about myself. But hey, what else are vlogs for? But hey, spoiler alert, at the end, I would say that the good stuff that happened definitely outweighs the bad stuff that happened, and I'm kind of super excited about it, so yay! I'm gonna give you two fair warnings before I really get started with this vlog, and that's that first of all, this vlog is going to contain a little bit of tech talk. I'm not gonna be asking you for any help, I'm not gonna be providing any advice or anything like that, but I am going to be talking in a little bit of detail, I'll try to keep it to a minimum, about outstanding video rendering problems that I have had with Pinnacle Studio 16 and 18 since forever, because I feel like I need to give a little bit of background before I go into some of the stuff that's happened this weekend. The second warning that I wanted to give you is this vlog is going to contain a rant about forums. Especially forums that are supposed to be users helping users. I stress the term supposed to be. So if you like rants, you might want to stick around for that. If you hate rants, you might want to leave at some point during the video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I suspect it's going to be quite long. I suspect that if you're watching the little thing go across, it's maybe only like this big. I could be wrong. Maybe I'll be able to say everything succinctly for the first time in my entire life, but probably not. So yeah, if you've had issues with forums in your life, or you've seen other people have issues that made you feel sort of angry or frustrated or ranty, then maybe you might be able to relate, and so maybe stick around for that and let me know that I am not alone in my frustration. But actually, the first thing that I wanted to mention doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with sort of a sad thing that happened yesterday. I'm recording this on Monday, and hopefully I get it up on Monday, though I think it's going to take a lot of editing. So yesterday was Sunday, and I had a plan on Sunday that I let people know about. I think it was Friday night on the Twitch stream that I was doing, that I intended to do a great big Dark Souls stream on Sunday. And I hadn't specifically said this, I don't think, but in my mind, I had decided it's going to be at least a 6-hour block. And if things are going well and I'm not too tired and we're making progress on Dark Souls or whatever, like, it might be an all-day stream, all Sunday with Dark Souls. I was really excited because I haven't played Dark Souls in a super long time, like way longer than I ever intended to be away from the game. There's so much great stuff yet to do in the game, and where I paused, I'm on my way to try to fight the Hydra, which I thought was going to be pretty exciting. And the very best part about choosing Sunday, this particular Sunday, was I knew I had Monday off. So even if I stayed up too late or I was really tired or whatever, it didn't matter because I was going to get to sleep in Monday morning and make up for it. So I could stream Dark Souls all day long if I wanted to. And I've been looking forward to this since earlier last week when I decided that I was definitely going to do it on Sunday. But if you follow me on Twitter, you already know that at some point Saturday afternoon, thankfully it was after I recorded the Skyrim Let's Play, because if it would have happened before that, my whole weekend would have just been a fucking wash. But thankfully it was after I was done recording Skyrim Let's Play for the day. Suddenly, out of nowhere, just like a snap, my left ear just completely clogged up. It was like it was suddenly being held underwater, and in addition to that, any kind of not particularly loud, but just even like a semi or medium to loud sound. Even chewing would do it, or even my own voice would do it, even when I wasn't talking really loud like I am right now because I'm doing a vlog, but just talking to like in the phone or to my cat, because sometimes I talk to my cat. Shut up! But basically, any kind of sound at all would create a sort of high pitched sympathetic reverb inside my left ear, and it would hurt really bad. It was like a quiet sound, but like a really high pitched, kind of painful sound in my ear. So I knew I couldn't play a game. Like, I couldn't put headphones on my head and listen to a game. It would be excruciating. I couldn't even, like, watch TV unless I turned the volume down, like, really, really far, and then just sort of, like, held this ear and kind of tried to listen really closely with this ear. So playing games was completely out, and I just didn't say anything at first because I was thinking, well, maybe I'll wake up Sunday and it'll be all better. But sure enough, I woke up Sunday, it was the same, and then I was like, well, maybe by the afternoon it'll go away, and it totally didn't. So I had to call off the whole thing, and I'm actually really sad about that, because it isn't like I can't do it like next weekend. Like, I'd probably do it next Sunday instead, as long as everything works out. But this was just really the perfect time to do it, and I didn't get to, and so I still haven't played Dark Souls, and I'm really quite sad about that. And I'm sorry for those of you who knew about it, if you were at the Twitch stream where I announced it and you were looking forward to it and you were expecting it and then it didn't happen. I'm really sorry. And especially sorry if you aren't also one of those who know about it because you follow me on Twitter, because you probably just think I stood you up. But I honestly did tweet about it, so lesson learned. Follow me on Twitter. Find out what's going on with the stream. Was that cheesy? Is that like, am I doing like a used car salesman thing? Follow me on Twitter and learn all the things about the stream. I'm gonna stop. Now, on the plus side, because I had already recorded Skyrim Let's Play, and now I didn't have any plans for the rest of the weekend because I couldn't hear anything, I had plenty of time to work on tech issues that I've been having with Pinnacle Studio since forever by trying to render these videos. And I had almost, but not quite, 2 hours of Skyrim Let's Play that I needed to mess around with. Now, I've actually lost track of how long I've been trying to fix this problem, and I've been Googling about it, and I've been searching forums for other people with the same problems, and just trying to fix it on my own with all sorts of, different options, different settings, different file types, and just all sorts of ways that I can fix it. And nothing has worked, but I've lost count. Like, I don't know if it's been 5 months, 6 months, like I feel like it's been a ridiculously long time that I've been dealing with this issue. I'm going to tell you now about the issue, and hopefully I remember to put one of those little things at the bottom, like click here to skip the tech talk and like get to the forum rant. So if there isn't something here, either you're really early to this vlog or I forgot to do it. So sorry. Basically, the problem is this. There are two types of videos that I can make with Pinnacle Studio that YouTube handles pretty well. One is an MP4 or an MPEG-4. The other one is an MTS or a transport stream. The MTS usually looks better. But the issue that I have with both types of files is that if I use a Pinnacle Studio preset export setting, which for MP4 I believe their preset is, if you use the HD 1080, is I think 12,000 kbits for the bitrate, and then for the MTS I believe it's 24,000 kbits for the bitrate. Those are the two that I use, and they're the best quality presets that I can get out of Pinnacle Studio, where the video and the audio stay in sync. And all of my videos, probably since the beginning, well, maybe not since the very beginning, I might have done some in Windows Movie Maker, but at least over the past year or so, every video of mine that you've seen on YouTube has been using one or the other of these presets. If you are a quality whore, such as myself, you have probably noticed that with these videos, whenever there is a lot of movement, and especially if there's like a lot of spinning, like a lot of fighting type of movement, and especially if it's on a light background, like outside in the snow on a clear day, you've probably noticed that the quality drops. during all of that movement. And when the screen is like moving around a lot, even if it gets kind of pixelated or blurry, it can be hard to actually tell because it's moving so fast anyway that it's just all blur in front of your eyes. So that doesn't matter so much. But where you can see it the most is on my face cam, because the face cam portion is perfectly still. So I'm sitting here like this, and everything else is going, crazy. So where you really notice the quality drop is on my face. So as I'm spinning around trying to run away from dragons or run away from tigers or run away from anything, basically. Okay, we know how I fight in Skyrim. I run away screaming. So basically, whenever I'm running away screaming, you'll find that my face just gets really pixelated and blurry because of the movement. There's a really great way to fix this, which is to, instead of using a preset in Pinnacle Studio, you can use custom export settings, where you can leave everything exactly the same as the preset, except you can increase the bit rate that it exports at. So instead of using 12,000 kbits like in the MP4 preset or 24,000 like in the MTS preset, you can kick it up as high as 40,000 kbits. If I export with either MP4 or MTS at that 40,000 kbit, the quality drop that occurs with the spinning on my face cam almost completely, I wouldn't say 100% completely, but like 90% completely, disappears. And we end up with a final product that is much prettier, it's much crisper, it's much cleaner, and I'm just way happier with it. Problem, as soon as I leave the Pinnacle Studio preset and use custom settings just to increase the bitrate, the final product has the audio out of sync. This only occurs if custom settings are used. If I use any preset that exists inside Pinnacle Studio, it does not throw my audio off. And I have done the whole thing where you actually take a screenshot of what the preset render settings are, and then you open up your custom and you check line by line and make sure every single thing matches except the bit rate because you want that to be higher. And it throws the audio off every single time. And this has been a big problem. This has been happening since forever. And it is a huge, in fact, I would say it is the main reason that the frequency of video uploads on this channel has crashed. When you first start with YouTube, or at least when I first started anyway, I'm sure not everyone is the same, but when I first started, my main concern is can I even make the videos? Can I even record the videos? Is the game playing okay? Are things crashing? Can I even put my face cam in there? Can you hear me giving commentary? It's all this sort of really, really basic tech stuff that you need to figure out to get videos uploaded onto YouTube. And you're sort of perfecting that and not really so much noticing if your quality isn't really, really top notch. So probably for the first 100 or more videos, that little bit of quality drop really didn't bother me. Maybe it's even was for the first 200. It might have been where it really started to bother me was maybe when I started to get all this texture stuff like SMIM and all this HD stuff, and I got my new GTX 770 4 gig GPU, and things were looking really, really pretty on my screen. It was probably around that point where I was just I cannot believe the difference between what I see on my screen and what I'm able to render out of Pinnacle Studio. And then on top of that, you have to give it to YouTube, who re-encodes it again, so you always lose a bit of quality between the file that you give YouTube and the file that you guys get to see if you watch the Skyrim Let's Play videos in 1080 HD, which you should be doing if you can, by the way, because if you're watching them in 480, I don't know how you're seeing anything. It's just fucking pixels everywhere. It's really unattractive. So basically what has been happening is that every time I have a video that I want to render and I have content that I want to put out there, I'm spending 2, 3, 4, 5 days for each video trying all different kinds of things that I can think of to try to produce a video that has quality that I think that it should have, so that when you watch it back you're not God, I'm friggin' blind from all the pixelation and the blur and bleh. I don't have the equipment or the software to make the most gorgeous videos in the world. I doubt that I ever will, but I want to do the best I can with what I have. And it's just been so incredibly frustrating to spend days and days trying to figure out some way that I can give a good quality video with my audio still being in sync, and then in the end having to give up and use one of the presets anyway, just so that I can get a video that does have audio in sync and upload that to YouTube and then see what it looks like on the other end, and then just be like, all of that work, and in the end, it's still, to me, it looks like crap. And at that point, you just become like kind of disillusioned, and any ambition that you had to kind of go forward, it just sort of fizzles out. You just want to do something else. And that's actually why I started streaming, just to walk away from that problem, because it was driving me insane. But because I still want to do Let's Play videos, I still come back to it on a regular basis every time I have content, and I still work on it, and I still try something else or something that I tried before that didn't work, but maybe it will now with the new patch. Maybe if I run it through Handbrake in a different way, it'll come out the other side in a way that will work. And in the meantime, I'm Googling my heart out, trying to find anybody else talking about this problem, and the only thing that I can find people talking about is when their original source files that they're using in Pinnacle Studio have a variable frame rate. None of my files have a variable frame rate. I know I said I was going to try to keep that explanation short, and that actually probably took a really long time to explain what the situation is, but I don't know how to explain it any quicker than that. I mean, that's what's been going on, and that's what's been driving me crazy for months, and it's a huge part of the reason that I am now lucky to upload one video once a week, and I've been pushing really hard to do that and doing less and less tests just to be able to get videos out with quality that I'm not happy with. Now, the good thing is that something has happened to make that maybe not be so much of a problem anymore. And if you saw the last upload that I did, which I think was number 249, if you look at the video quality on that one at 1080 HD and you compare it to 248 or 247, especially if you compare it to like the dragon fight that's out in the white snow during the day and I'm running around screaming like a crazy person, and even on 1080 HD you're seeing a lot of pixelation and a lot of blurriness around my face cam when I'm running around. Compare that to the latest video and you'll probably notice that there has been a huge quality bump. So that brings me to what is going to probably turn into my forum rant. Let me start off by saying that I fucking hate posting on forums. I can't actually say that I hate forums, because when I have a problem, I do a lot of Googling for other people who have had the problem, and often the way that the problem gets solved is I actually find a thread on a forum where someone who had my problem posted about it and eventually got a response that helped them, and then that solution also helps me. So I can't say that I hate forums, but I hate posting on forums, and I'm absolutely the kind of person that would rather struggle with a problem for days or weeks or months before actually posting on a forum and asking a bunch of volunteers and random dudes for help with that problem. Because I've always assumed that this Pinnacle Studio problem must be able to be solved if you just find the right settings, or you just figure out how to get your original videos in the right format. I have been doing all of this testing for all of these months, sure that eventually I'm going to find the answer. In addition to that, whenever I try to Google for the problem, I can't find anybody else who has this exact problem. But at this point, when I recorded these last 2 hours of Skyrim Let's Play, and I started to render them, and just that feeling of dread came over me, where it's like, oh great, now I have to go through this again. Or I could just give up from the very beginning and just use a preset, and then when I look at it, I'm gonna say it doesn't look good enough, and then I'll have to upload that, and then I'll feel bad about how bad it looks on YouTube for like a week, and then I won't want to do another video. It's just this awful feeling. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna post on a forum. I don't want to do it. I hate doing it. But I reached the end of my rope. It's like, I don't know what else to do except either spend $300 to $600 on a better editing program, because basically every editing program is better. Like, I would love to have something like, you know, Sony Vegas Pro that's like $600, or I think Camtasia is like $300. I don't know that Camtasia can do everything that I want to do. It probably can, but essentially I'm sure that if I had better equipment to work with, that I would be able to create better quality videos. But I cannot justify spending that much money on a program to do something that's a hobby. This is not my job. This is something I actually enjoy doing for fun when it works properly, but I can't drop $300 or $600 on software for that and only for that. Like, that's, to me, that's completely outrageous. So I need to work with what I've got. My only other option at this point is like, I need to ask somebody else for help and just hope that someone will come along and offer a suggestion or a solution that somehow I hadn't managed to think of. And you might be saying, but Reesha, why do you hate forums? Like, what's the problem with forums? The reason that I hate forums is that in my experience, and I'm not talking about my personal experience only, because like I said, I very rarely post on forums for help. Over the course of my life, I might have half a dozen times. 3 of those times have been because of Pinnacle Studio, by the way. But from my experiences of Googling for answers and finding other people's forum threads on both software and hardware, different websites all over the net, what I have discovered through what I admit is an unscientific method is that approximately, I'd say, 80 to 90% of people on forums who are supposedly there to help are complete and utter dickbags. I see forum thread after forum thread of people posting questions that are sensible. They're providing the information that you need. They're letting you know what they've already tried. And it pretty much never fails. Like, the first 2, 3, 4 answers they get are just from complete douches. They're either answering questions that weren't asked, fixing problems that don't exist, or saying things that completely demonstrate that they didn't bother to read even like a quarter of the information that was presented by the original poster. Now, having said that, I fully understand there are also a lot of people who post on forums and they just put up like 2 sentences and they give you absolutely no information, and there's no possible way that anyone could help this person because they haven't told you really what they're trying to do, what exactly is going wrong, what they've tried to fix it, what sort of hardware they're working with. And like, there are a lot of people who post on forums that are just, they're hopeless. Like, you can't help this person if they're not going to give you any information. But I'm not really talking about those people because generally those are threads that would not be helpful for me in my searching for help on a problem. So I'm only talking about the responses that reasonable people posting reasonable questions get from other people on forums who are supposed to be helping. And I think one of the things that I find most disturbing about this is that often the people who are giving these douchebag responses and just being cruel for no reason, being insulting and talking down to people for no reason, these are often people who actually have some form of power on the forum, in the sense of like they're moderators or they're considered somebody who is like one of the top 100 people. And I don't know if they're acting like that because they contribute on the forums so much. Maybe they've just been completely burned out on like the 2-sentence help requester people that I mentioned before, and now they can't even stand to be kind to people who are actually providing the information that you need to help them. Or if they were a douchebag from the start. But in my experience, when I finally break down and post something on a forum, generally the exact same thing happens to me. And I think that this happens just basically pretty much all the time. And I don't understand. I just do not get why a person would choose to go on a forum to help people and then choose that the way that they're going to do this is to be as big of a douche as humanly possible, and often to not even do anything to help the person. Thread after thread, post after post, I just see perfectly nice people with perfectly reasonable questions getting insulted, getting talked down to. And then in addition to that, there's the other type, or sometimes it's the same person, but the other type of douchebag where instead of assisting you with the problem that you're saying that you're having, they just basically say, you shouldn't be trying to do that, that's stupid. Now, having said that, of course, I know that there are also good people on forums who really do want to help people, because Obviously, if there wasn't anyone there who really did want to help people, then these people wouldn't get answers to their questions and their problems wouldn't get solved, and then I couldn't leech off of those in private to figure out my own problems. So of course there are some good people on forums as well, but I really feel like the majority of people who are on user helps user forums are just total douches, and I don't know why. Like, why would you choose to be this way? If you find people who want help to be so stupid or ignorant or annoying or like a waste of space or whatever, why are you even in the forum in the first place? Just to be annoyed? Like, do you enjoy being annoyed? Like, if you feel like everybody except you is stupid, do you enjoy being around people that you think are stupid? Like, why are you there just to be a douche? You know, and it's one thing when someone comes in to a thread and they're a douche to the original poster, and you know, you look at their stats and they've had an account since 2008 and they've posted 12 times. And it's like, okay, well, you're nobody, you're nothing, like, you're pointless, you might as well not even be here, you obviously never help anyone, you just occasionally lash out for no known reason. But it's a whole lot worse when the douches that you see are people that you can see are really active in the community, because then it's like, oh, are you just a douche all the time to everyone to like increase your post count or something? And it's the absolute worst when you see people being douches who have some sort of power on the site, like they're a moderator or like an originator or something like that. Like, that's just awful. Like, and I just feel so bad for the forum itself in general. So yeah, as you might imagine, I posted on the forum and I carefully explained what the problem is. I explained everything that I'm working with, including all the details on my source files, on my project, what I've tried that works, what I've tried that doesn't work, when the problem happens, when the problem doesn't happen, so on and so forth, k-bits, frame rates, blah 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 blah. And of course, I immediately get responses from the people who don't actually bother reading what I'm saying, and the first thing they say is, well, obviously your source files have a variable frame rate. Yeah, maybe if you would have read what I said, where I explained that they were constant frame rate and I'd verified it multiple times with media info. Because at that point, like, you're not just wasting my time, like, you're wasting your own time. If you weren't going to actually read what was written there, you might as well have not even come into the thread. And you certainly shouldn't have posted on the thread. But I will say that I'm very, very lucky. As I said, I've had to post in forums 3 separate times for Pinnacle Studio, which is, like, amazing. It's definitely a record for me to post in a forum 3 separate times for the same program. But I've been very lucky in that on this particular forum, there is one nice guy. I've managed to locate one nice guy on this forum, and for some reason or another, I've been lucky enough that each time I posted, he's come along and in a polite, kind, respectful, helpful way, he has actually offered ideas, suggestions, solutions, and information that I didn't already have. Thank you very much. I'm not going to say the names of any of the people that I'm thanking or complaining about because I don't want whatever blowback or something. Not that it isn't possible that one or more of them is watching this, since I did give links to my YouTube channel to show examples of what I was talking about, so if any of them are here, they're probably going to be really pissed off and leave angry messages below. So let's just hope they didn't get this far in the vlog, shall we, or else that might turn into a flaming war, and who wants that? So this time I was super lucky that that same fella came along and he offered a suggestion that I hadn't tried yet, but unfortunately it only worked for half of the problem and not for the entire problem, so I continued to try to, look for more responses and hopefully fix the other side too, and then everything would be perfect and that would just be amazing. And this is when I discovered that there's actually a third kind of person on forums that before this day I actually didn't know existed. And this is the kind of person who seems nice and polite and helpful and interested and information sharing and is really gung-ho about how they're going to help you, and they want you to do this, they want you to do that, provide these files for me, and try this and try that and try the other thing and give me links to this. And then you go and you do all of the work that they've asked you to do, and you stay up late making sure that you have it all ready for them the next day. And then when you go and you're like, so where do you want me to put this stuff? They go, I'm out. Fucking really? Really? I would honestly rather the douchebag who comes along and just says stuff that's really rude and really not helpful. Because at least with that guy, you know what you're getting from the offset, and he's not really wasting too much of your time, because as soon as you read it, you're like, oh look, a douchebag. I don't need to listen to anything that this person said because he's a douchebag. I would probably rather that than the person who like gets your hopes up and says that they're gonna do all this stuff and like really go out of their way to help you, and like this is exactly the kind of volunteer that you were hoping to stumble across, and then suddenly just decides to back out. And their reason for backing out, and I love this, I have a life. Okay. If helping people on the forums where you've chosen to be a volunteer specifically to help people on the forums is to interfering in your super special life, then maybe you shouldn't be here. Or at the very least, maybe you shouldn't be responding to people telling them how much you're going to help them just so that you can walk off into the sunset not doing the things that you said that you were going to do. So that, I think, is my new least favorite type of person on forums. And what's interesting is I actually never knew that this kind of person existed, because what you usually find at the end of forum threads that don't get solved is you find a person saying all of those things. I want you to do this, I want you to do that, I want you to make these files, I want you to upload them to me, I'm going to take a look at them, and then I'm going to use them in my program, and then I'm going to see if I can figure out what's going wrong. And then they don't ever get any response. And the original poster like doesn't want to do the work because they're a lazy asshole that just wants to press a button and have everything magically work. And they're not willing to actually work on it. So the original poster disappears, and so it never happens. And you think, phew, that original poster was either a total dickbag, or, well, he was definitely a total dickbag, because even if he figured it out for himself, he should have said, oh, thanks for all your offers of help, but I figured it out on my own and I'm gonna close the thread. But instead he just fucking poofed into the aether, and you never heard from him again, and that's just kind of bullshit. So I didn't know that there was a kind of person that offers to do all of the help, and then when you actually do what they asked you to do, they just say they don't want to participate anymore. I didn't know that that was a thing, but apparently that's a thing in forums. So today I actually hate forums a little bit more than I hated them yesterday. However, having said all that and having complained a great deal about this particular person, I also have to state that in all of the different things that this person suggested and that they wanted me to do, one of the little suggestions that was hidden in there actually gave me a kind of a workaround on the second half of my problem, and sort of allows me to not exactly do what I wanted to do, but do something that's very, very similar so that I don't have to work with that second half of the problem. So even though they just like stepped away and had me do all this work and then not look at it, still, you know, kudos to them for managing to actually give me half of a solution / workaround thing that did actually do something. So the takeaway from all of this, aside from me hating posting on forums with a fucking passion, I'm talking like I hate it with the strength of 1,000 suns. But also, I'm now in a situation where I've got 2 separate fixes for this ongoing problem that I've had, and I'm now able to create higher quality videos out of Pinnacle Studio the first time. And the video and the audio is in sync. So assuming that nothing else terrible happens, and assuming that these little side things continue to work, I think that the quality that you can see on the Skyrim Let's Play video 249 when you watch it at 1080p HD, I think that is going to be like the low end of quality that I'm going to be able to produce. And I might be able to produce a little bit better quality by increasing bitrate on my original files. I don't know for sure that that's going to work, but I don't think that I will have to create files with the pixelation problem during movement that you've seen on videos 248 and back since the beginning. And I'm really, really excited about that, because what that means for me is that the process is going to be a shit ton faster, and I shouldn't have as much frustration with it as I've had in the past, and I should be able to make one video in a few hours rather than attempt to create the same video 12 separate times over the course of 3 days and then settle for something that isn't good enough. And if that's the case, then I feel like really soon I can start increasing the frequency of Let's Play uploads on this channel. And I want to add to that I'm not going to try to go back to the uploading one video a day thing that I did for quite a while at the beginning there. That really was killing me, and I think pushing myself to do that again is just going to put me in that same situation I ended up in before, where I get burned out and then I go away for 6 weeks and you're like, why are there no videos? What the fuck is going on? Even if I'm not having as many tech problems as before. So I'm not saying that I'm aiming for that, but I would love it if I could upload a video 2 or 3 times a week, and I still haven't been able to achieve that. Like, I'm just barely managing to scrape out 1 video a week right now, and I want to do better than that. And I think that with this tech problem half solved and half kind of bypassed, I think that I might be able to start doing that, so I'm really excited. Now, of course, when one tech difficulty door opens, or closes, I guess another one opens, because Shadowplay, or NVIDIA control panel, recently had another driver update. And I don't know if you remember the fiasco from driver update, what was it, like 344.22 or 21 or something like that, when Skyrim couldn't be recorded at all if you had ENB series. But now with the new update, it has caused a really fun, really interesting little quirk in the recording, which is that the recording randomly decides, and I do mean randomly decides, that sometimes when you record Skyrim, it's going to put a cursor at some point on the screen that doesn't exist. Other times, it won't. I ran 4 separate tests of Shadowplay recording of Skyrim before I recorded my last 2 hours of Skyrim Let's Play. I have triple checked these tests, and all 4 of them do not show a cursor. As soon as I started recording Skyrim for the Let's Play for real, and keep in mind, I changed no settings in between the last test with no cursor and the actual recording that shows a cursor. 2 hours of gameplay with a stupid little hourglass cursor in the lower right quadrant of the screen the entire time that I ended up having to cover up with my face cam. After that, I ran another test, and this time there was a cursor again, but this time it was like in the middle of the screen, and it wasn't the hourglass, it was like the regular arrow cursor. Then I ran another test right after that. No cursor. Then I ran another test. No cursor. It is just randomly deciding to add a cursor to the recordings, and I have no idea whether it's there or not because I can't see it when I'm playing, and the only way for me to check and see if it's there is to stop the recording and then go look and see if it's there. But then when I start the next recording, it doesn't matter if it was there before or not because it might magically appear again this time. So I'm really scared to record the next bit of Skyrim Let's Play with Shadowplay, because there could be a cursor smack in the middle of the screen where I can't do anything about it, and I would just have to upload the next couple of episodes of the Skyrim Let's Play with a cursor in the middle of them. There would literally be nothing that I could do. I was really lucky that this time it was far enough to the right that I could just move my face cam down over it and it covered it, and then it wasn't annoying. But if it's smack in the middle of the screen, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do. And I'm just kind of hoping at this point that before I get a chance to record more Skyrim Let's Play, there's going to be another Shadowplay driver update that'll fix this issue. Because I've seen a lot of people posting about it and I haven't seen any fixes for it. I'll probably run a bunch more tests. What I was really trying to do is I was trying to get a test where it did show the cursor, and then I was going to try to move my mouse and see if, even though I couldn't see the cursor, if I could move the cursor anyway up to the corner where my face cam usually is. Because if I can move it, then it doesn't matter if it films it at all. But every single time I tried to run a test to see if I could move my cursor, I'd go back to check the test recording and it hadn't recorded a cursor. So it's just fucking driving me crazy. I'm like, when I want you to record a cursor, you won't. And when I don't want you to record a cursor, you do. Is that the secret? Is that the secret, that I should just start doing a Skyrim Let's Play and then just be like, please record a cursor. I really, really want you to. And then magically it won't. But yeah, despite the bad things, despite the mostly bad forum experience, I would say that all in all, it's good in the end. I'm really happy that I have the solution and the workaround with Pinnacle Studio that I do have, and I think it's really going to save me a lot of time and frustration, and no matter how annoying certain people were on the forums, I'm still glad that I posted there, because the one nice person came along and I did get a couple of things out of it, so yay. And let me just say, if you think that I'm completely out of line and, you want to defend people in forums who are acting like that toward the original poster, feel free to post your comments below and, tell me that I'm out of line and tell me that I shouldn't think this way and whatever. Or if you are like me and you have either seen some really rough forum conversations where you just felt bad for the original poster, or you yourself have tried to post on forums and people for no discernible reason have just treated you really mean, and let me know so that I don't feel totally alone about my just utter distaste for forums where users are supposed to help users. And I feel like forums aren't really the only place that you see this. To me, it feels like in forums it's about people who think they're better than other people because they assume they have knowledge that the posters who want help do not have, even when they're actually not able to solve the person's problem. So I feel like they feel like they have the right to treat them badly. And I see the same kind of thing in gaming a lot, especially like multiplayer gaming. When you have a new person come in, they don't know how to play the game and they're just like, oh, what do I do? What's the best thing to do? And the people who have a lot of experience like treat them badly, call them names. Basically, I mean, you could say that they're hazing them or whatever, but I don't think they're trying to make friends with them through hurting their feelings. It's a big part of the reason why I don't like multiplayer games, because even though I know a lot of gamers are really nice and would actually help somebody who was like, I'm not sure how this works, like where do I find the help screen so I can figure out what buttons do what, I think that you tend to come across a lot of people, especially when you're playing with strangers, obviously, who are just mean for no good reason. And even outside of like the internet, because you could say, well, these people are hiding behind their computers and they feel like they can just be as mean as they want and there are no consequences. But you even see it out in the real world. Rich people treat poor people really poorly. I should have probably used a word other than poorly. And again, it's not all rich people, some rich people are like, I want to give, I want to help raise up the poor so that they don't have to be poor, I want to help the homeless or whatever. But so often you see, like, especially if you look at any kind of, you can look all over YouTube and find like these hidden camera things where somebody pretended to be homeless or somebody pretended to be, collecting for charity and did it on, let's say, Wall Street or Fifth Avenue and was just treated incredibly bad by person after person after person. And in that case, it's just like, well, I have money and you don't, so I have the right to treat you like garbage. And it's always just sort of this thing, if I have it and you don't, then I have the right to treat you like garbage. And it's so ridiculous. Like, if you're rich, it doesn't cost you anything really. Like, you're not going to miss it if you give a little bit of money to the poor. And if you have knowledge that somebody else doesn't have, it's not really going to cost you anything to share it with them. And especially on a place like the forums, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's not like, oh, well, this person who made a post on the forum is wasting my time. Well, they're really not, because you don't have to be there. You don't have to choose to go there and respond to them if that's difficult for you or you don't have the time to do it. You could have just stayed out of it. Why would you go and try to treat somebody badly for no viable reason? Like, I just find it really, really strange that people are like that. All right, this might very well be the longest vlog I've ever done and the longest vlog that I will ever do. I think I've been talking almost nonstop for almost an hour now. It's going to take me forever to edit this down, and this vlog is probably like 30 minutes long and no one wants to hear all of this crap. But I just wanted to get it all out. I probably should have split this into 2 separate vlogs. The takeaway is, in the end, I think that things are going to be better. I really hope that I get to deliver on that. Thanks a lot for watching, especially if you watched this far, because this was ridiculously long. I look forward to reading your thoughts below. I'm sure, being that you're internet people, you probably have a lot of thoughts on the forum situation. I should definitely see you in just a couple of days on my next Skyrim video, because it's basically almost ready, even though I just uploaded one the other day. Super excited! But in the meantime, I hope you have a great night! Bye!